to me, to you, to me, to you. If I wanted to watch that, I'd stick Chucklevision on from when I was a kid.
Nobody pays their money to see centre-backs have the ball at their feet. I'm sorry, they don't.
And these are the two pre-season title favourites, Jimbo, and neither of us are pulling up trees.
Not even planting any at the minute, mate.
Don't get me started on that green shirt, for God's sake.
If you defend low, we can't break you down. If you have a go, we'll crumble.
Is Jack the train driver announcing all change here?
I think you're a magician if you can pull something out of a hat from that.
Our home form, in terms of performance, this season, overall, has been dismal. I'll be kind. I'll dress it up a little bit. It's been dismal.
Go on then, let's revive reverse psychology for the win and see how that goes.
The Town are looked to bounce back from that maul-in on Saturday with a home game against Huddersfield Town on Tuesday night. And alongside me to look forward to the game is the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe. Jimbo, I won't ask if it'll be better than the last one because it has to be, but it has to be a lot better.
The word look forward was doing a lot of heavy lifting there, mate.
An awful lot of heavy lifting, yeah. We will look ahead to the game after this intro. Hello everyone, welcome along to another episode of the Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast, the award-winning, longest-running Luton Town podcast this season. The show is in association with Solid, providing opportunities, provisions and assistance so our academy can fulfil their potential. As I mentioned prior to the intro, we're looking ahead to Luton Town versus Huddersfield Town Tuesday night, 7:45 kickoff at Kenilworth Road. If you haven't got a ticket or can't make the game, Sky Sports Plus is showing this match, so you will be able to view it should you want to. I've got the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe with me to look ahead to the game. I guess, Jimbo, this is the ghost of playoff past, isn't it? Huddersfield, obviously, we've had a few run-ins with this lot in recent times, but that was probably, well, it was the most famous one and actually the most heartbreaking one at their place.
Yeah, it was, but then the year after surpassed that, I suppose. But it doesn't matter really who it is at the moment, and no disrespect if you're a Huddersfield fan. We've got a lot of work on ourselves to do for the game, and a lot of work, front, back, and middle. It's all happening.
Isn't it just? Yeah. Probably the worst opponents that we could have had here. Maybe it's the best opponents. I don't know. Maybe we're underdogs for the game. We're back into that Stockport County mode. I mean, these are the two pre-season title favourites. Jimbo, Luton were favourites for the title. Huddersfield second favourites, and neither of us are pulling up trees in those expectations. Huddersfield
not even planting any at the minute, mate.
Don't get me started on that green shirt, for God's sake. Yeah, you're right. We're both well below where we want to be in the table, but someone's going to be 3 points to the good if there's a winner on Tuesday night, and let us hope it's us. Huddersfield. We're not going to do too much on Huddersfield. As Jimbo said, this is all about Luton. So if you are a Huddersfield fan watching this, you may as well turn away now, really, to be fair. But there's a glaring person in this Huddersfield squad, Jimbo. I've just mentioned that it's the ghost of playoff past, and this could be, well, we're approaching Christmas, the ghost of Christmas present.
Joe Taylor, you're talking about. Yeah. I fully expect him to score, to be honest, really. Everyone else who's gone and comes back bloody well scores, and he's got more of a point to prove than many. And to many fans, they're probably quite rightly going, well, if we'd have kept someone like him, we might have known where the goal is, because at a minute, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like we've got the map. We lost it a long time ago.
We did, yeah. The one thing about Huddersfield, they've got a big squad. So if you're worried about them backing up from Saturday, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, pretty much every signing that was made in July was Huddersfield signing them, wasn't it? I think we were linked to 2 or 3 of their signings, but didn't materialise. And they've got plenty of options. I mean, they won on Saturday, and I noticed that Alfie May wasn't even in their squad, and he's been the top scorer in this league in 2 of the last 3 seasons and got promoted with Birmingham last year. If he's not even getting in their squad, and I didn't see any sign of an injury, certainly none of the a lineup site suggested that he was injured, then they must be good.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be good. They're one of the favourites. The fact that they're not quite living up to it at the moment is perhaps a positive for us, but we're back in that world again after a positive sort of 5 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully they're going to come and not do a Rotherham. I think we're now going to be referring to the low block as that, isn't it? But, no, I don't think that really offers any shred of comfort after Barnsley, because if you defend low, we can't break you down. If you have a go, we'll crumble. That is a hard circle to square.
To be honest, I'll quite take that Rotherham game on Tuesday night, because at least there's no danger of us conceding a goal.
Well, yeah, I think that you'd have to at this stage, really, because it will at least show that defensively maybe that was just a major blip up at Oakwell, and start again from that sort of low benchmark. Will people be accepting of that? Probably no, but you've got to look at the context, haven't you?
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Huddersfield aren't coming here to park any buses, that's for sure. I've only seen Huddersfield once this season, Jimbo. It was home to Bolton. It was a Monday night game. It was on Sky a month or two ago. They dominated first half. Don't know how they went 5-0 up in the first half and then got absolutely battered in the second half. I mean, it was just a case of when are Bolton going to score. Took until the 93rd minute of 5 minutes of injury time, but they still managed to find a winner in that time as well. And not really followed their progress too much since, but they're no higher up in the table, so it hasn't obviously been great progress, although they did beat Mansfield at the weekend, which is something that we failed to do on our own patch. Let's turn this back to the Hatters, because this is a big thing, really. When the train grounds to a halt, the train driver usually puts an announcement out, all change, all change. Is Jack the train driver announcing all change here?
I think he has to. You can't look at that performance really and assess it any other than, abject. I know that you'd want to try and find positives out of it, but I think you're a magician if you can pull something out of a hat from that, really.
And we're not talking Ted and Mengi's hat either, are we? That hat well and truly disappeared on Saturday.
Well, exactly. I think you've got to be ruthless. There were players that, certainly defensively, you can't concede 5 goals and go, that defence is okay, good to go again. I don't think anyone's going to accept that.
So there's a name here then, isn't there? If we're changing the defence. He seems to be the forgotten man, Christian Makosso. I'm sure next time you're in front of Jack, you'll inquire as to what's happening with him, particularly if there is no pre-match press conference and he doesn't get named in the side on Tuesday night. But there aren't many options to change it, but there's one.
Christmas season's full in the swing now, and I think we're in need of Christ here, because people warm to him, fans like him, and there's pace if there's a problem there. I can only imagine that he's gone for the defenders he's gone ahead of him so far because of experience, but they just simply didn't cut the mustard at Barnsley, and we need to change it. If he doesn't come in, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I would too, but he's not even on the bench. There's the surprising thing. Okay, we're playing 3 centre-halves. We're never going to need to play a 4th centre-half. And obviously, if a centre-half gets injured, you just change formation. I get that. But for him not to be on the bench, okay, Odoffin covers a lot more positions. I get that. And that's absolutely fine. But it's a massive fall from grace. And it's not like the people that are there are pulling up trees. I mean, credit where
no, they had done, not pulling up trees, but 3 clean sheets and the spin, and we hadn't done that for a very long time. So they had done, but everything changed in Yorkshire on Saturday. So you got to look at it again.
You can't really say they pulled up trees with the Rotherham clean sheet, though. You and I could have stood in the centre of defence and kept a clean sheet in that game. So they kept 2 clean sheets, and even Northampton weren't the most attacking side in the world, and we still nearly played them straight through on goal, and thankfully Odoffin got us out of the mire. Stockport, absolutely a good clean sheet, relied on some misses. I don't think...
You can't say they pulled up trees against Rotherham, but you would rather defensive displays where they had a cigar and didn't have to do anything anyway. You can only really do, beat the team in front of you or play the team that's in front of you. They did not beat them.
But you're not going to get that team here, are you?
No. But it was in the mix of keeping 3 clean sheets. So that's why it was reasonably hopeful. It's all gone out the window now.
What I mean is, though, we can't use that as a comparison to this because it's going to be a completely different game.
True.
You're looking at some of the games where teams have actually got an attacking intent to compare with here. I mean, I'd love Huddersfield to come down here, sit there, park the bus, have no attackers on the pitch, and just go home with a 0-0 draw. You can have it. Here it is. Here's your 0-0 draw. You can have it. Because I'll take it every day of the week. I mean, that ain't a 0-0 draw. It's a case for allowing you to hear what we say. Maybe people would want them to take that instead. But, they can have it because, like you said, this has got the potential to go west. Largely because our home form, in terms of performance, this season, overall, has been dismal. I'll be kind. I'll dress it up a little bit. It's been dismal. I think Jack said...
That's kind, is it?
That is kind, because it's been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Can you think of a good performance? No. I think Jack said it before the Barnsley game. We're better suited to playing away from home right now, which was a correct admission. Aged badly. I get that. Nobody who was in one of those horrible green shirts on Saturday did enough to ensure that they were wearing an orange shirt on Tuesday night. From the starting 11, did they? There was no one there. When we reviewed the Stockport game, I was talking about everyone who started the game being an 8 out of 10. I don't think anyone got to 4 out of 10 on Saturday. So if Jack comes up to you and taps you on the shoulder, sorry, but that's just the way it is, because he could legitimately make, I don't think we got the players to do it, but if he wanted to, he could legitimately make 10 changes Tuesday night.
Yeah, well, he has to make some. I mean, maybe, what was it, 3 for that game? And I think when we saw the team sheet, I think most people were a bit wary of it. And
we were wary of one change, weren't we, in particular? No Jake Richards, but Zach Nelson playing. Saville was always coming in. That was absolutely fine. But yeah, Nelson coming in. And Kadir was, I don't think anyone had batted any eyelids over Kadir coming in. So actually, Zach coming in for Lamine, not Richards, because obviously Kadir came in for Richards, played the identical formation. That's got to change, hasn't it? Lamine's got to play. If Lamine's not on the starting lineup here, well, I'd be very surprised. The starting lineups are about 6:30 here, aren't they? So people are just about coming in from work and quick change and getting out. Maybe if Lamine's not on the starting lineup, they don't bother with the out bit and just sit and watch it on the telly.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to start for me, but he's got a lot more to go. He's not anywhere near a finished article, but him alongside Saville, or at least in the vicinity, seems to be a partnership that was beginning to flourish. And I think we've got to look at that. We've got to try and find these partnerships that are working and go with that. Start them. If you have to bring them off, do that, but start them. The rotation didn't work at all on Saturday. And it works both ways. If you're going to say that we've got a squad, we've got to use them, then you've got to also take them out when they don't work. And I think we're there.
Yeah, defence then, I'm not convinced he does come in, Makosso.
Do you know what? I probably would be inclined to agree with you. I'm talking fantasy football here, really.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're picking our desired team, then Makosso definitely comes in for the simple reason, really, that he can't possibly be any worse than the 3 centre-half performances on Saturday. First and foremost, can we just ditch one of them? Yeah, I know I'm not going to go into back threes and back fours and all this, and it's fluid and everything else, but just get me another person on the pitch that's going to get the ball up there in the forward areas rather than about with it on the halfway line. To me, to you, to me, to you. If I wanted to watch that, I'd stick Chuckle Vision on from when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
That is proper showing my age. Go and check it out on YouTube if you've not seen it.
Everybody knows who the Chuckle Brothers are, mate. I agree. I don't think you'll find many people that like it. There's some sort of ridiculous stat. I'd have to dig it out. It might have been the Tim Lovejoy podcast, not the new one, which is very good. The one where he got the Soccer AM game.
Are you getting paid for plugs here?
No. I'm just trying to reference it. Maybe people out there got a better memory than me, but there's some sort of statistic where, you go back 10 seasons and all the people with the most touches were all the best creative midfielders in the Premier League. You go now and they're all centre-backs. Nobody pays their money to see centre-backs have the ball at their feet. I'm sorry, they don't. And maybe that's a bit better in the Premier League. I still wouldn't like to watch it, but that's not League One, I'm afraid, and I don't want to see it.
No, it's not. Do you know what? I'd be okay with it if the side centre-backs could progress the ball into the midfield areas and form an overload that way. Mengi can't, or doesn't. Whether that's an instruction or not, I don't know. But Makosso can. That's why they played him at right back for however many games towards the end of Bloomfield, because he is the one who can use the ball athletically. Naismith can, but his legs have absolutely gone. And we seriously need to sort this left-footed centre-half problem out when the transfer window comes along. I really hope that if we do only play two centre-backs, he'll be one. And I really hope that it'll be Makosso the other. There's nothing against Mengi. Look, he was excellent at Stockport, wasn't he? Absolutely fine. But you can't stand square on to an attacker 5 minutes into a game. You just can't. I got taught it as a 6-year-old. You've got to be on the half turn or half width or whatever the phrase is, so that when the guy goes past you, you can go with him. You had no chance of getting back to him, and then the pass for the fifth one as well. I'm all for giving people second chances. I am. That's fine. When you've made a mistake, like he did after the Forest Green game, he was then got told, we'll go and put it right against Stockport, and he did, and that's fine. But that's now 2 shocking performances in 3 Saturdays, or Friday as that was. That's one too many in too short space of time for me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at all of that when on the Saturday against Barnsley, any sort of mistakes, you've got to look at it, and maybe they won't add it up and accumulate it with other mistakes over the course of the season, because Wilshere's not been there the whole time. But that's what fans are doing, isn't it?
But those Forest Green games were under Jack, weren't they? The Forest Green mistakes were under Jack. As I say, that was only 3 weeks ago last Friday.
I think the thing there is that, and what he said this in the pre-match to Barnsley, was that Mads, Mengi and Cal, he said, we're all leaders. And, if that influences your thinking, I'm not sure that's what we are seeing.
No, that's right, actually. In their own individualness, are they leaders? Yeah, I can kind of see it. I mean, Mads, when he came, for all the whys and wherefores that we signed him as a Premier League player when he'd not played any higher than League One, that's a different story. But when he came, I think he was Barnsley's captain, wasn't he? And he was certainly a dominant figure in that Barnsley side. So I can see why you would have him in your head as a leader. He's definitely not a leader on the pitch for this football club. He fits into the pattern of everyone else. Naismith's your captain, so you've got to call him a leader, but I don't see any captaincy leadership on the pitch from Naismith, apart from when he's gobbing off at fans when he doesn't like what people hear. Mengi, I suppose it's what you see as a leader, isn't it? I mean, me as a leader, I see a vocal person who has a strut and a confidence about them to tell other people when they're not doing things right, and who leads with his own performance. That's how I see a leader. But within a dressing room, things are different. But yeah, no, I wouldn't see that. I wouldn't have Mengi down. I mean, if I'm picking a captain of this football club, I don't think Mengi would be any higher than 5th on the list, if I'm honest. So I'm not sure about that one.
It's an interesting question to put to you guys out there. What to you, put this in the comments, is a leader? Because what I've seen from the weekend onwards, and a couple of times over the season really, is a fair few comments on social media that there's far too much just acceptance when a goal goes in, and what I think people are alluding to, there's nobody there shouting and rallying and digging people out or telling them what they need to do or instructing them where they need to go. Maybe I've done them a disservice there, but I think that's the general gist of what I've been getting. What do you guys think is leadership? Because, like I say, we're getting told that these are the leaders, but then you can see 5 goals. Maybe they're two different things.
Yeah, I mean, they might be seen as leaders, but they're not lead-in, are they? I mean, part of the problem why no one's digging anyone out is because you look to your captain to do that. Well, how can he dig someone out when the geezer strolls past him for the second one and he makes piss poor effort for the fifth one on Saturday? He can't dig anyone out, can he? If I'm in his team and he starts digging me out, I'm going to look at him and say, well, you sort your own performance out before you have a go at my performance. And that's where we're at, isn't it?
Well, you can't be in that position, surely. I mean,
but that is the position we're in, though, isn't it?
Oh, it is. But
so the answer is to drop him like Matt Bloomfield did and put the captaincy on someone else who can carry it. Now, that person would have been Jordan Clark, who always carries the team with pride and leadership, not necessarily in a in your face kind of way, but he will always lead by example. He very rarely let us down when he has the captain's armband on. In fact, Carlton Morris last season never let us down from a leading by example point of view. He just literally had zero support on the pitch anywhere near him. We won't go into strikers as captains because I know neither of us like that, but you could quite feasibly give the captaincy on this occasion were you not to play Cal Naismith. And I'm saying this as a hypothetical situation because I fully expect to see Cal Naismith in the team because he's already explained that he wants to balance wherever his centre-backs are, whether it's 2 or 3. He wants a left footer and a right footer. Well, Naismith's the only left footer you've got. But you could give the captaincy to George Saville and ask him to lead by example.
Yeah, you could. I think what I was pondering there is that you can be a captain and not perform well, but does that mean you don't do the captain's duties, regardless of what you said about that situation of another player biting back at you? But I'd rather that there'd be a healthy discussion there than nothing at all.
Me too, but I'm assuming that's why it's not happening, because he's not stupid. He knows his performances are bad. Statistics tell you even if he doesn't, and they all get given all their statistics, don't they, when they're doing all of this analysis and stuff. I can only assume that's what it is, because otherwise, why wouldn't you ball someone out when we're conceding goals? 5 of the bloody things. He had ample chance to have a go, but as I said, 2 of them were his fault. Can't ball himself out, can he?
He could.
Well, maybe he should do.
He could, but yeah, well, whatever your mix or idea of what that leadership is, then it wasn't apparent at the weekend, was it? And it's not been apparent for many, many of the losses.
Oh, I think part of the problem that we've got when it comes to leadership and the leaders at this football club, we've had some really good captains. So now if you're of an older bygone age, the age that's slightly before me in terms of watching Luton Town, then you'll have Steve Foster as your favourite Luton captain. Really good captain, led by example, dominant figure, let people know when it wasn't good. But he was in a team where you could let people know because Mick Harford was one of them. And if you were brave enough to stand up to him, the best of luck to you, etc. Those of a generation after, so the generation that I'm probably in or probably slightly older than, would have Kevin Nichols as their standout captain, a geezer who would kick anything that moved, and if he was his own teammate who weren't pulling his weight, you would damn well know about it. And when we needed someone to step up, whether it's from the penalty spot or to go in goal when your goalkeepers got sent off, he was your man. He would go and do everything. He was a very, very good captain of this football club. More recently, you've had the likes of Sonny Bradley leading the football club. And of course, the man who absolutely should still be here leading this football club, Tom Lockyer. They're 2 more stand up. We haven't got that. So you look at those 4 individuals and what do they give you? They don't only give you 7 out of 10 every single time they take to the pitch and higher, but they give you a dominance, physical dominance that you just don't get from any of these supposed leaders that we've got right now or are not getting from these leaders right now. It's a big problem, a captaincy. We have no dominant centre-half. Anderson has the potential to be it. And maybe at the start of the season, we did see signs of it, albeit no one attacked us at the start of the season, so it was hard to tell. But he is not the dominant centre-half that we played against when he was at Barnsley, hence why we took him. He's not that, or we haven't seen that. Now, whether that's because he hasn't got the armband, I don't know. But I don't know what the answer is with the captaincy, but something's got to give because we need a leader on the pitch, someone who is shouting and hollering. Because let's be honest, at Kenilworth Road, you can hear people on the pitch because there's no atmosphere. Right, there isn't, is there? Because the football's boring. Yeah. So you can hear it, but you can't hear it because it's not being shouted on the pitch, is it?
No.
And that is a problem. And I don't know, maybe we're too soft in that regard. Maybe, I mean, Naismith came out the other day, didn't he, and said we're a young squad. Only 3 starters under 25 on Saturday. They had 6 for the record. Another reason why that interview was an absolute load of nonsense. We're not a young... We've got some young players in this squad.
Might have a young squad, but the young team, I think the average age was not young. I think the average age it should be in the prime years of a footballer, like 26, 27, 28.
Yeah, 3 players were under 25 that started that game on Saturday, and we only had to bring 3 more on because the senior players, the ones over 25, were so crap. So, I'm not watching that. Do you know what? I want a team of young players. Because I've sat behind this table God knows how many times and said the young players are the ones that are trying to do things for this football club. The senior ones are the ones that are letting it down, and that continues to be the case. What happens in defence? I mean, that's up to Jack. I don't think he's got an ocean of options, but I really would like one of the centre-halves to go, and let's put someone else in the middle of the park so that we can progress the ball up the pitch a little bit further. And that one would have to be Fanny, wouldn't it? Because he's the one who can carry the ball from deep and go forward, or he's the one who can stay forward and launch an attack in that direction. If I saw a midfield 3 of Saville, Fanny, and whoever, not Walsh, but Nelson, Richards, Nelson or Richards, because I don't think Clark's fit to be back. So if I saw that 3, and that's no slight on Liam Walsh, I just don't see how he fits in. I think the only way he gets in is when we give Saville a rest now, to be honest. If I saw that, I'd be a bit happier.
I think everybody will be happy to see Richards and Fanny on the pitch for sure. But in that formation they've been playing, Richards has been further forward, hasn't he? So he wouldn't be in that 3.
Well, we'll come on to why I wouldn't have him there in a minute.
Okay. Well, just to have the names on the team sheet, yes, I think. And maybe the 3-game weak nature of the fixtures were part of the decision to rest the 2 of them at Barnsley and as it was true before the Barnsley kickoff, that we looked better away. You thought we might have a better chance away. Maybe that contributed to that decision. But these 2 games now at home, there has to be oceans more fight.
Oh yeah, there does. Yeah, I think Richards has been carrying an injury, hasn't he? I think that was why he made away on Saturday. And again, I didn't have a problem with Kadir replacing Richards. That was absolutely fine. Would I have liked Richards to have gone the other side and played where Nelson played? That might have been a better discussion. I didn't have a problem with Kadir, and I don't have a problem if Kadir starts wide on the right in this game either. But I think back to the Northampton game, which was his first real game in charge. I know he had Mansfield, but he barely knew who he was. Or who anyone was. So I think back to the Northampton game, and Izzy Jones was employed wide on the left when he came on there. So can we go Kadir on the right, Jones on the left? Because the problem we've got in this game, we don't think we got Wells. Well, in fact, we know we haven't got Wells. You don't have a protective boot on and then go and play 3 days later. So we're assuming it's Yates who's going to... We've definitely not got Al Hamady. He's out for upwards of a month, by all accounts, with this quad injury that he's come back from international duty with. So we've only got Yates or Nordos. Well, Nordos wasn't even on the bench. Sorry, or Jacob Brown as well. But I think he seems reluctant to start Brown, doesn't he? Whatever this return from injury is, he's making 100% certain that he's good to go before he takes him off the leash, isn't he? So I'm thinking it's going to be Yates who starts. He didn't even bring Brown on Saturday. Maybe that was a sign that the game was gone, and he kept on with what he had. But if it is Yates, you've got to have people going the other side, because otherwise we're all going to get congested in the centre circle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it's almost nailed on that it'll be him. But, if you're going to pair him with Brown, knowing that he said in the build-up to the Barnsley game that we're going to have to be patient with Jacob Brown. And that's fair enough. He's been out for a very long time. It's a very serious injury. But he's also he's looked very good in training, very eager, scored for the 21s, which isn't the best gauge, but it's something. I've always said this, if you need to change it and he's good enough and you've saying these nice things about him, I'd rather you start him and bring him off at half-time or 60 minutes once his legs go, and they will go for a period until he gets back up to full fitness. I'd rather that than anything else. So that would be an option.
but we think it's Yates.
Yeah, it's got to be Yates, isn't it? Yeah, we've not seen Nordos or Bodie on a team sheet, and they played for the 21s and didn't do anything. So
yeah, and you'll probably see Nordos on the bench on Tuesday night because we need to replace Wells in the squad, don't we? I mean, where I'm going, Jimbo, is so I would go. This isn't my ideal team, but from what we've got, I would go Bramall, Naismith, Makosso, a Dauphin at right back. So we'll play a back four. Let's just simplify it.
mm-hmm.
Right. None of this, we can move a 4 into a 3 and a 3 into 4. Let's just have 4. 3 in the midfield. So Saville, Fanny, Richards. Izzy Jones wide on the left. Gideon Kadir on the right. Or if you want to swap them over and Kadir can play on the left and Izzy Jones on the right, I'm fine with that. And then Jerry Yates through the middle. That's the 11 that I'm picking for this game and I would like to see. Is it the 11 I expect Jack to pick? No, because I don't suppose he's going to drop a centre-back and I don't suppose he's going to play Izzy Jones further forward either. But that's the sort of range where I think if we had that format, that structure, rather than that formation, that structure, there are a few tools in there that you can move around. You could play Jacob Brown wide on the left when he starts and things like that. But as an 11, as a starting point, I'd be all right to see that here.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Yeah, sure. It's those two players that you want back on the pitch for starting that would give you a bit more confidence, wouldn't you? And defensively, I think there does have to be changes, and maybe it would be a Dauphin. I would imagine. I kind of think that he'll still stick with the 2 centre back pairing.
3 centre halves. Yeah, I see it as well.
I think, as much as I want to see Makossa giving a go, because the squad, when you talk up the squad element, you've then got to use them when the going gets tough, isn't it? And it's tough now, so I think you've got to change it. Really? It's going to be a really tricky one to suggest that those players can go and then do a good job and keep a team out. And I don't think you can get past the 5 goals that are conceded. There's got to be changes.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't change it, it's firmly go and put it right. On paper, this is a harder game than Saturday. There's no doubt in my mind Huddersfield finish. There's no doubt in my mind if the football season was played on paper, Huddersfield finish above Barnsley. The players that Huddersfield have got in their squad have got lots and lots and lots of championship experience. That Barnsley side's a very young side. I mean, crikey, we saw it. It was like in Yorkshire, we was like chasing greyhounds and whippets, weren't we, for most of the afternoon.
And though we didn't do it, 1 clean sheet in 13 before that, so they're going to concede goals, I would suggest. But.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously Huddersfield got a decent goalkeeper. Owen Goodman in goal, was AFC Wimbledon's goalkeeper last season. And if he's not in goal, Lee Nichols. And if he's in goal, Christ, we've got to score the first goal because we've seen his time wasting antics down here plenty of times in the past. We don't need to see them again. And the reason why I would play that structure, not just because of the 5-0, I got, like I said in the last podcast, I got the 3 centre-backs at Stockport. I was absolutely fine with it. You have to play Stockport away differently to how you play Rotherham at home. But we didn't. Yeah, no, you play back 3 against Stockport. That's fine. We could still be playing now against Rotherham 10 days on and we weren't scoring. Saturday proved that, didn't it? So let's go back to the old structure that did get more people up the pitch. And if we concede goals, we concede goals. Hey presto, we conceded goals in it on Saturday, didn't we? And go from there. At least then we might, because prior to the Stockport game, the Mansfield game, and the Northampton game in particular, the XG numbers were high, so the quality of chances was good. There have been no chances in the last 2 games. So let's go back to at least getting into that ballpark. Because like I said earlier in the podcast, we haven't really got a defender who's brilliant at taking the ball into midfield other than Naismith, and he can do that as a back 2 anyway. So that would be my change. And let's try and attack them with pace rather than this hairy-fairy to me to you nonsense that hopes that someone comes out and presses us, but if they don't, what do we do then?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think attacking is what people would like to see. That's it. I mean, for all the amount of goals that we conceded, more of the comments have been from the ones I've seen in the game since that attacking is a major problem. And it's true, because we had apparently one shot. Me and you still can't remember it. And that's not good enough. So it'd be interesting. Well, it'd be interesting. Another question I'm going to pose to you. So you're going to have to do all the work out there, but you put this in the comments. If you knew we were going to concede goals, would you rather all the focus be on attack? Or would you rather, and you can't have your cake and eat it here, or would you rather just shut up shop because the 5 goals went in and it'd be another 0-0? They're the only 2 options I'm presenting you. Put that in the comments, what you'd rather.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Bloomfield did go with the latter. The former, didn't he? Shut up shop. And we drew a lot of games 0-0 in start of his tenure, or lost them 1-0, and you could visibly see that the defence was tighter. But we had nothing in the opposite direction. Then we tried to get something in the opposite direction. Didn't have anything at the back. Jack's in the same situation. He's trying to control the football. Yet again on Saturday we had, I think it was 71% of the football this time, 69% against Rotherham. Now it's great having that. It's brilliant. But if you don't do sod all with it, it's pointless.
It's not. If you're if you're passing it around the back, I don't want us to. I want defenders need to defend, head and kick it and do that nasty stuff. I don't want them to be doing all the passing unless they can physically do it, and they've shown us in the past. And I'm not sure that we're seeing that, so I don't want to see that. And possession, well, Barnsley show possession is not 9/10 of the law, because they had less than half of the possession the Luton had, and they could have scored even more than they did.
We gone to the Premier League showing possessions pointless statistic. Leicester City won the Premier League showing possessions a pointless statistic. I mean, the statistic that matters is the one that appears on the top corner of your screen when you watch a game on television. It's the one that tells you how many times you stick the ball in the onion bag as opposed to the amount of times they stick it in the onion bag. How it gets there is complicated by idiots, as a well-known manager once said.
Well, this is it. Maybe it's just getting too complicated. It was a very simple game when I was a young man. It still is, but all these bloody stats and things that get added into it, and we use them. We do. They could be a guide, can't they? Sometimes, but really, ultimately, it is the scoreline. And unfortunately, we're not doing anywhere near enough to get that scoreline moving. That's a major problem, because it's not like, we're short on. Well, we may well be now short on strikers. We haven't been all season. It's just none of them are doing the business. But are they not doing the business because they're not getting the service? Probably. But it's not like in the Adebayo years where he was struggling but getting into positions and missing. We're not doing that. Apart from the Wales chance, I don't even think that's a proper chance. They were so on him at Barnsley and clearing that away. I don't even think it is. They're not even getting the chances. So then you're not creating, and that's a problem.
Yeah, not in those 2 games. They're not. Don't forget, Wales went through on goal against Stockport, and goalkeeper pulled off pretty good save. And to be fair, supporters of the Strikers are going to shout at you that in the 2 cup games prior to the Stockport game, Strikers scored a brace in each. But yeah, you're right. I think it's still no goal from open play from a striker this season. I think I'm still right in saying in the league. And that's obviously got to change. And it's got to change bloody quickly. And let's hope it changes here. Yeah, look, I don't want to sound like Jack, but we have to start winning duels, and we have to get on some second balls on Tuesday night. If we don't do that, it's going to be a long night at the office. The other thing that we can do, listen, we all love Kenilworth Road. We all love Kenilworth Road under the floodlights. It can be a magical place. It can be a horrible place. Don't get me wrong. It can be a magical place. And in no way, shape or form does that performance on Saturday deserve our support on Tuesday night. But if you go in, you might as well support them, because otherwise, what is the point in going? Let's try and make it a little bit atmospheric and try and get something into them. Listen, if they perform like they did on Saturday, it'll go quiet again, and that's understandable. But at least do our bit in the stands, get behind them, so at least then you haven't got your captain coming out and digging you out after the game like he did on Saturday. And the blame can be apportioned elsewhere. We'll finish the podcast here because we are well aware that there's not much time to watch this and there's lots of podcasts coming at you, but we'll do the score predictions quickly. Jimbo, Luton versus Huddersfield. How does this one finish?
Bloody hell. This feels like an absolute curse, this part of the show.
Can I invite reverse psychology for the win back to the ball game, please?
Well, maybe. Let's do it. Go on then. Let's revive reverse psychology for the win and see how that goes. 2-0 to Huddersfield. Reverse psychology for the win, that is.
I seriously thought we'd put that to bed. I thought we'd put...
So did I, mate.
I thought we'd put conceding 5 to bed.
I thought we'd put a lot of things to bed, but clearly they had woke up with a nightmare at Oakwell.
Yeah, not the only one who woke up with a nightmare, that's for sure. Look, this is a tough night at the office. I'm not going to Kenilworth Road, sitting there hoping that we lose or thinking that we lose. But yes, this is a tough game, right? They were the second favourites before the season started. We haven't got a particularly great record against them. I've got plenty of bad memories against this lot and not many good memories against them. So I think the best we're going to get on Tuesday night is a 1-1 draw.
So I'd take that, to be honest.
I'm not saying I wouldn't.
I'd take it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't. This is, of course, a game that's rescheduled from earlier in the season when it should have been on one of the international breaks. So therefore, it is a game in hand on some of the teams that are in the division. Therefore, you'd like to hope we can maximise it. We're down to 12th now. We didn't really touch on that. Such was the vitriol which was in us in the review episode. Down to 12th now. So we need a result from these 2 home games because... well, don't want to be looking over our shoulder in December, mate.
Yeah, I know some people have said we're worried about the slide. I wouldn't go that far, but I'm also not thinking, again, even though I put myself in that position after Stockport, I'm not thinking about promotion again.
No, let's think about just winning a game. That would be for starters, wouldn't it? Winning a game. Look, they've got it in them. They beat Stockport. Still, well, then until Saturday's results, they were still the league leaders, and let's hope we can produce that performance as opposed to the Barnsley performance. That is pretty much it for this episode of the podcast. Get your score predictions in and everything. To help you do that, here is the leaderboard, and I'll update that on the Trust website. I'll do that when we get to 20 games. This is 17, isn't it? Saturday will be 18, so I'll do it when we get to 20 games. I'll put the full leaderboard up on the Trust website, but there is the top 5 for now anyway. So let's have your score predictions. Not much time to do it. Blame the schedule, don't blame us. Thanks again to all the folks at Marsh House, the proud new home of the Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast. We really do appreciate your support, particularly this week, guys, and to Sean Grant and the Wolfgang for our intro music. Until next time, which will be a full review of Tuesday night's game against Huddersfield Town, which we hope will be so much more positive than that last review episode that we put out from Jimbo and myself. Come on, you Hatters. Get back to winning ways, please.